when the narcissist loses you. Not all narcissists lose their appliances. Many narcissists get in there first and disengage. Indeed, when it comes to the relationship between the narcissist and the intimate partner primary source, the most common reason for the demise of the relationship isn't the escape, it's disengagement. And this is because empathic victims are more likely to stay in the ensnarement rather than seek to escape. That is why you are selected as our victims. You are easier to ensnare, you are easier to keep ensnared. The constitution of your empathic traits, allied with emotional thinking, means rather than just walk away, you stay, you seek answers. You try to cure the ills of the relationship, you try to get back to the golden period, and 100 other reasons. Motivated by the corruption of your empathic and sometimes narcissistic traits, by your elevated emotional thinking, causes you to remain in the relationship. Of course, there are those who eventually do escape, but disengagement is more common. Furthermore, there are some entanglements between narcissist and intimate partner primary source where there is neither escape nor disengagement. The victim does not escape. The narcissist does not disengage because one of the 5 disengagement triggers never occurs, and therefore that entanglement can last for decades, the roller coaster ride that exists. However, where there is a situation whereby the narcissist loses you, what is the response of the narcissist? How does the narcissist feel? Rather than me talk through the actual response in terms of action with regard to preventative hoovering, initial grand hoovers, etc., which is a detailed matrix of responses which depends upon your position within the fuel matrix and what else is occurring in the fuel matrix and the type of narcissist you're dealing with, which results in a variety of outcomes. Instead, in this video, I'm going to explain to you, quite simply, what it is that the narcissist feels when the narcissist loses you, when you escape. You don't disengage from us, we disengage from you. When you remove yourself from the formal relationship with the narcissist, it is an escape. I used those differing terms for ease of reference. When you escape, meaning the narcissist has lost you, how does that make the narcissist feel? Well, first of all, contrary to some belief that we don't feel anything at all, we actually do. Some people mistakenly think that narcissists don't feel anything. We do. We do feel lots of things, albeit it's of a limited range compared to you and largely negative in nature. What happens when the narcissist loses you and you escape? In the context of where you are the intimate partner primary source, it depends upon the school of narcissists that you're involved with, that you have escaped from. And I'm going to explain it from the position of you've already gone. You're not telling the narcissist that it's over. You're not telling the narcissist you're thinking of leaving. You're not in the hallway, bags packed, about to depart. You have gone. And the narcissist has returned home to find an empty house or a Dear John letter, or has been advised by somebody else that the relationship is over. How does that make the narcissist feel? Every type of narcissist, whether lesser, mid-range, greater or ultra, where the intimate partner primary source, wife, husband, boyfriend, girlfriend, cohab partner, escapes, where we lose them, we are wounded. Wounding is the worst thing that you could ever do to us. It is a double whammy. Bang, bang, kiss, kiss. No fuel. And a threat to our control. The wounding is substantial because that also follows in a double whammy. First of all, there is the simple fact of your departure, which threatens our control. But the fact is that you, as the intimate partner primary source, are the prized possession. And therefore, not only have we lost control of an appliance, we have lost control of the appliance within the fuel matrix. The individual that was selected and targeted, either instinctively or consciously, for the purposes of being the easiest to control, the best provider of fuel, the one with the most character traits that we could obtain from, and the most residual benefits. And therefore, not only are we made to feel vulnerable, weakened, and unimportant as a consequence of your escape, the very fact that our prized possession has walked out of the door and has departed, that we have lost that individual, impacts upon the narcissist all the more and causes substantial wounding. For the lesser narcissist, the lesser may rely upon this primary source for 90% of the provision of the prime aims. And this wounding will ignite heated fury. There will be a sensation of the world being removed from under the feet of this narcissist. That every ill that has ever been met upon him has suddenly revisited him in one hammer blow. And the response is one of fury. As the self-defense mechanism that is the narcissism responds to the realization that the intimate partner primary source is gone, as a response to this substantial wounding, the narcissism lights the bonfire, ignites the fury to compel the narcissist to do something. And as I've explained, this video isn't about what the narcissist is actually going to do, but how the narcissist feels. So there is an initial moment, the realization, if you will, about the loss, which causes that wounding, the sensation of something being ripped out of the narcissist. A real sense of loss, not in the way that you would experience it, but a loss in terms of something being stolen. Of course, there is no sense of shame or recognition of fault. There's no mea culpa being experienced by the narcissist because it can never be our fault. But in this scenario, where the lesser loses you as the intimate partner primary source, there is that huge sense of dread and foreboding as the first hammer blow of the wounding occurs, and then immediately in behind it comes the fury. The narcissist is incandescent with rage. How dare this person do as they have done? How dare they walk away from this narcissist? Who do they think they are? Just you wait until I get my hands upon you. Furious, raging, a broiling, swirling mass of malice and hatred that is galvanized into action. A pressure cooker ready to explode as the volcanic eruption of the fury takes hold of this particular narcissist. What about the mid-range narcissist? Lower mid-range, middle range type A, middle range type B, and upper mid-range. How do they feel when they lose that intimate partner primary source? Of course, they are also wounded. Their world collapses. The mid-range narcissist will rely upon the primary source for somewhere between 70 to 90% of the prime aims from that individual, and therefore their departure causes a similarly significant problem for the narcissist. With the lesser being closer to 90%, it's a huge problem, and it's still a substantial one for the mid-range narcissist. The sensation of that wounding is a hammer blow to that narcissist, to the sense of worth, to their standing. They're made to feel unimportant, not worthy, weak, vulnerable. They will feel a wretchedness as a consequence of this traitorous, awful behaviour of this person that they have only loved with a perfect love and have treated so well. Remember, mid-range narcissists see themselves as good people, either good in the sense of hugely empathic or good in terms of superior, capable, thrusting, dynamic. There's invariably something behind that, but there will still be a degree of delusion dependent upon the extent of the mid-ranger. So a lower mid-ranger has a greater level of delusion than an upper mid-ranger. But either way, where this mid-range narcissist loses you, the sensation that they will feel is a sense of betrayal. They cannot believe that you would do this to them of all people. They don't deserve it. The self-pity will erupt. I can't believe that she has treated me this way after everything that I have done for her. I can't believe he would do this after all of the things that I have done to help him. Of course, there is no sense of shame, no sense of accountability, no sense of culpability from the mid-range narcissist. Once again, the narcissism does not allow us to see that it is our fault. And therefore, those mid-range narcissists can't see that they were the cause of your departure. Not at all. They're blinded to it. They are not allowed to see that they were at fault because that would affect their ability to control. Instead, they are overcome with the disgusting behaviour that you have exhibited towards them. There is hatred towards you mixed in with this self-pitying behaviour. That why is it that I always lose out? Why do people always have to be horrible to me? Why do they treat me this way? Every conceivable ill that narcissist has suffered in his life, real or more usually imagined, is all of a sudden heaped upon him. The world is a cruel and wretched place that has only one aim to make his life a misery. It is as if there is some invisible God that has made this narcissist his pet project to torture and torment him. Why me? Why me? Cries the narcissist. The emptiness looms at this sudden cessation of fuel, and dependent upon pre-existing fuel levels, they may also find, and this would be the same for the lesser, hurtling towards a fuel crisis. But in that instant of the realization that the prize has departed, there is no sense of regret. There is no sense of, I should have treated this person better, although of course a narcissist might say that to you later as part of a manipulation. But it is all about, how could this person do this to me? How could they be so horrible? How could they be so awful towards me after everything that I've done for them? How wonderful I've been. There is absolutely no recognition of fault, and it's all that you are an awful person, and just confirming in the mind of the narcissist that the world is a treacherous, awful, unpleasant place. Then comes the fury. And with them being mid-range narcissists, it is a cold fury that is ignited. There is disdain, dismissiveness. There is a need to act, of course, and this video isn't about what will happen next, but rather how the narcissist is feeling. But they will be motivated as a combination of haughty dismissiveness towards the behaviour of this individual, whilst continuing sensations of self-pity for themselves, that they are hard done to, that they are the underdog, that they have been badly treated, to motivate them to take the appropriate action. Because these are mid-range narcissists, that is the initial response. It might be that some heated fury could come later, dependent upon circumstances, but for the most part, there will be the ignition of cold fury, building upon the feelings that I've already described to you. What then with regard to the greater narcissist and the ultra? Well, of course, escape is far less likely because of the greater level of effectiveness that these narcissists have with regard to control of the intimate partner primary source. But of course, It is not beyond the realm of possibility that the intimate partner primary source can escape a greater or ultra narcissist. It's just less likely. Where it does occur, the greater and the ultra are wounded, just in the same way. There is that sudden hammer blow, the dent to the self-esteem, the blow towards that excellent conceit of ourselves. And not only is it the case of that individual having walked away wounding us, it also has an impact upon the prime aims. However, it is less tangible when it comes to the greater or the ultra, because whilst the primary source remains the single most important person in the fuel matrix, their level of importance is not as great as it is with the mid-range or the lesser narcissist. They, because of the much larger fuel matrices of the greater or the ultra, the intimate partner primary source may only be responsible for anything between 40 to 60% of the prime aims. So they are the single greatest provider, but if they're removed, their impact isn't as great as it is for the mid-ranger or the lesser. Nevertheless, what really pains the greater and the ultra is this: how did I manage to let that individual go? Not in the sense of any sense of fault, but rather irritation and annoyance that this has occurred, that it is to suggest that the greater and the ultra is not as capable as they are, and that offends. Rather than it be an immediate sensation of doom, it is rather a sense of annoyance and irritation. There is the dent to the self-esteem that has occurred. But it is far less in terms of a sensation of impending doom, as is the case with the lesser and the mid-range. The greater then experiences almost a sense of anticipation. There is a challenge to be had. Kitty's got claws. Well, well, well. So they have something about them. And then it becomes a project. Either to consciously decide what is the best route to draw that individual back in, or, in certain instances, to crush them for their audacity of escaping. There will remain an undercurrent of heated fury, make no mistake, but almost an amalgam of cold and heated fury for the greater or the ultra, so that there is under the surface this churning hatred and malice, which is used in a very controlled way. There isn't the explosive rage that is exhibited by the lesser. There isn't the cold, hurtful, self-pitying indifference that might have transpired from the mid-range narcissist. With the greater and the ultra, the fury is there, right underneath the surface, driving the response. There is that furious sensation, but it is kept under control. Think of it as you will, as the narcissist that is a greater or ultra is looking at you implacably, but beneath that supposedly implacable expression, the gears are turning, the cogs are whirring, the thought processes are spilling over one another, as 101 different plans are assessed, analysed, ascertained, rejected, consolidated, acted upon. The fury drives the engine of the response, and it is heated in nature, but is contained almost with a coolant around it, is perhaps a good way of describing it. There is a challenge that awaits, and there is a sense of anticipation, but it must be done. Similarly, the greater the ultra feels, who is this person to think that they could do this to me? They will not get away with it. They will regret it. The hatred and the malice is there, and will be utilised either to draw the individual back in, and then, at a choice moment, punish them for their impertinent behaviour in escaping in the first place, or, because of the way that the constitution of the fuel matrix has arisen, they're not drawn back in, and instead the malice erupts And the response of the greater or the ultra is that deep-seated core of hatred which is unleashed to crush this particular appliance. That does happen, but it is more unusual. When the narcissist loses you as an intimate partner, primary source, every narcissist is wounded. And that is a horrible, unpleasant experience for us all. And we hate losing people. Absolutely hate it. Not because we miss you, not because we miss your smile or your scent, but because it signals that we don't matter, and we must matter. It signals that we're not important, and we must be important. It signals that we are not powerful, and we are powerful. Your escape lands a hammer blow against us, and we absolutely hate it. And it impacts upon us with those feelings that I have described, dependent upon the different school of narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.